Hello and welcome to our daily sketching routine. It is Monday, November 4th, 2024, and today's topic will be tips on starting and keeping the sketching habit. So this was inspired by a comment, which I appreciate, and feel free to leave comments about whatever whatever you're interested in. So yeah, welcome back. And if you're new, I sketch and post every day, and I start a 5-minute timer, which I'm starting right now, and in fact that will be what I'm gonna focus on today, sort of talking about. And as I do that, I'm just gonna kind of sketch and see how that goes. I'm gonna sketch from imagination. So yeah, I started a 5-minute timer, and I would have called this video like using a 5-minute timer to sketch with, or to start like a sketching habit. And I'll talk about that, but then I realized that that's just one thing. Like there's more to it. So to begin with, I'm warming up. So there's that. So just before I even get into like using a timer and everything, here's some, and I'll do more videos about this kind of topic because I think it's helpful. I mean, it's helpful for me too. So one thing is, for example, I'm using a sketchbook that is a low cost, or like not fancy, and you might want to use a sketchbook. So when I started the channel, I was using a pocket size sketchbook. So that's kind of like the first thing. And also make sure that the tools that you use, the materials, are things that you like to use and that aren't causing stress, because maybe you feel like you don't want to mess it up, or like they're uncomfortable to use, or like maybe you feel like you're supposed to. So don't feel like you should make yourself like use certain tools or stuff like that. So there's that. And then the other thing would be same thing with pens. So I'm going to switch off. And yesterday I kind of went over like different pens. And so this is a ballpoint pen, which is kind of nice. I'm liking this. So the other thing would be along the same lines as use tools that are comfortable. Same thing. Also use pens and stuff that is kind of low pressure, or pencils. So that was sort of like the first thing I wanted to suggest. And so then the next thing is, we're using a timer right now. We've got about a minute left. So I'm using my watch for these videos to track like the time. But there's a lot of apps that will have a timer, and it will also track like your progress. So it'll tell you like how much time you spent for the day and stuff like that. So I think both things are good. They kind of they help out in different ways. So to kind of overcome resistance to starting, I would use a timer to, like I would do 1 minute, if that helps. I don't really know how to draw a horse. I'm just kind of making this up. Well, I mean, I studied, but see what I remember. I think that's as far as I can get. Kind of studied the skeleton helps with animals. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so if 5 minutes is kind of long, then just do a minute. I went through a while just kind of doing 1 minute daily sketches because there's different kinds of resistance. So that's 5 minutes. I'll start another one. And like the main thing is just to respect that there's resistance and just kind of be gentle about it. And to this day, I mean, even though I'm able to do longer sketches, I still use the timer. So that's to like basically get started. It helps with that. I have other tips which we'll get to as I get warmed up here. The other thing is, if you have a channel like mine where somebody's just sketching every day and keeping the timer for you, I mean, that's pretty great. Like, I didn't have that, so yeah, take advantage of the fact that we have stuff like that. YouTube channels that, you know, where people want to help. I mean, it's helping me obviously to practice, but also I mean, it's kind of my way to give back. So I'm gonna leave this horse alone because that's about all I know. So yeah, take advantage of my channel, other people's that post videos that can help you learn, can help you keep the habit. Set a timer, that would be good, just on your own, like personally. My videos will be 5 minutes for the most part, not in length, but like the timer will be in 5 minute increments. Although yesterday I started doing 10-minute ones, but you can use the video as a timer. I mean, because I'm basing it off of timing. Partly because it helps me to stay focused, and that kind of leads to the next thing, is that, so yeah, find a way to start a timer. It could be 1 minute, it could be 5 minutes, and then kind of work your way up. Kind of like working out. I mean, it's very similar. And that helps to overcome the resistance. But then the next thing, so that's to help get you started. I'm still working on this horse, aren't I? I can't help it. And yeah, and the next thing would be just using videos and stuff like that to kind of also help motivate you. And then, like I said, have some kind of way to, like whether it's an app. I mean, there's so many apps. I'm kind of like addicted to apps, so so there's a lot of different ones, and sometimes I just use different ones kind of for the same purpose, but just because maybe I like playing around with different apps. But if you have an app that can keep the time and then also show you your progress, like how much time, like cumulatively, I think that kind of leads to the next thing, which is the idea of sort of the keeping a streak alive idea. And I find that that's really helpful, but like you might need to just do like start with 1 minute. I think that's like one of the things that happens is that people underestimate resistance. like they kind of push themselves a little too hard to begin with. So it could be your goal could be to start a timer for 1 minute and sketch. And I'll do another video about like what to sketch. That's what I'm showing you here. That's what like YouTube videos can help with. But yeah, that's kind of another topic. But then, so that'll get you started. And then also like the tools that you use, keep it kind of low pressure, not to feel like you have to. That's 5 minutes, by the way. I'll start another one. So that's 10 minutes so far, I think. Yeah, not to feel like you have to finish works of art every time. Like you're not gonna mess it up. Like a ballpoint pen is like, I'm using it right now and it's actually really good because I kind of don't like to use pencil, but then this way I can kind of have the like best of both worlds kind of thing. So I can have a sketch, but it'll still be in pen. So where were we? Yeah, the streak, kind of keeping the streak alive. So if you start to see that for one whole week, you sketched for 1 minute, which can kind of be a big deal. I mean, like I said, I went through a phase where 1 minute was pretty difficult to sketch. But you see that you have a streak of doing that. Whether you put it on like a paper calendar or like digitally, like on your phone or something, that is really helpful. And then just keep that going. And what'll happen, and so the other thing that happens is once you start kind of getting into it, so these things I still use, by the way, like I'm literally using a timer like right now. But the other thing is that, so that's to kind of overcome resistance to like beginning or to starting, that kind of thing. But then the next thing would be, you might actually get, this next part is about, so the first part was about resistance, and then this part is kind of about like distraction. So there's some, like, so these are all like mental processes. But there's a thing with distraction, and these are all things that I deal with myself. But what happens is that having a 1 minute timer is important to deal with the distraction and to deal with overcoming resistance. But then once you actually get yourself to start, then the distraction will kick in. You'll get distracted. And so that's why it's good to have a short amount of time, whether it's 1 minute or whether it's 5 minutes. And then the other thing that happens is that as you get into it, as you develop the habit, you might also want to work, but then there's resistance because maybe you feel like, so one thing that happens with me is I'll be thinking, okay, there's something else like I need to work on or something like that. And then you can use a timer. So instead of, I guess, counting down, which is the 5 minute thing, which is the timer I'm using right now. So it's counting down. And you can use the other one where it's like, it's counting up. And so you can go that way, and that helps with the idea that you might be spending too much time, paradoxically, on something. So you might want to do that, like do a let it count up. So whenever I work on something, I pretty much always use some sort of timer. Excuse the lawn mowing. It's Monday around here, so that's what they do. This is as far as I can take this without reference here. I'll just kind of shade, or maybe I'll just draw something else. Yeah, I always use some sort of timer. I'll either count down, which is what I'm doing right now, or I will like count up. So that's 5 minutes. I'll start another timer. And what happens is I'll usually do a countdown for these videos, and then or if, let's say, I'm not recording a video but like I'm needing to sketch for today, like I'll do a countdown. But then later, because usually I'll do these videos and then I'll do other stuff, and then in the evening I'll work on do more art. I'll either like work on this, continue it, or do studies, or like work on other projects I have going on, or I'll kind of like think about like what I'm gonna do a video about like the next day. And when I do that, I still do a count up, so that I can see that I spent 30 minutes or I spent an hour, because by that time I'm usually wanting to do art, because like I said, it might be just a continuation of this or other things, but like I'm kind of like, I got past like the resistance of it, and it builds on itself, it compounds. So like the more you do this, because I have other pages and other things I could work on, and that's kind of another topic also, like the idea of how to manage like projects, because after a while you're gonna have a lot of ideas, but like I've said, it's better to have more ideas than not enough. It's better to want to do art, but yeah, you kind of have to manage that also. And that's kind of why I do like the count up, is because sometimes I can spend too much time and you end up overworking a piece, or you end up pushing yourself too far. So there's that. Like, it's kind of like, yeah, it's like working out, where there's a point of diminishing returns. So so that's what like the count up is for. It's for when you really do want to actually work, but like you can't really like, it's important to sort of not overwork yourself and the art. So hopefully that kind of makes sense on how to deal with resistance and like overcome resistance. And then the streak thing, so yeah, like I said, whether you use a calendar like to mark the days that you did, like set up these kind of rules for yourself, like make it's gamification in other words, but it's just specific to like sketching. But if you can see the streak that you're on, then that's really where the habit, like you're gonna build the habit. Again, apologies for the lawn mowing taking place. It adds to the ambiance, maybe. I'll do another video. Again, if you have more questions about this, there's a lot more to it. But this is kind of like the most important part of this idea. There's other tips as far as like starting and keeping a sketching habit. So, and again, I'll do another video, but like it's this idea of it's kind of, I call it the AOS triad, where like you can draw from imagination, you can just like doodle, which is kind of what this is. You can do studies. I'll have to do another video, and yeah, feel free to ask me, because it does help out. But I mean, I have ideas, so so yeah, as this video kind of, this 5-minute session kind of winds down, I want to thank you for joining me, and appreciate you helping out the channel. And yeah, until next time, keep on sketching.